Through the last 13 years, WIPPA has been at the forefront of our country's wind energy progress. We have been collaborating and partnering with government bodies and regulatory authorities to drive policy changes and initiate newer regulations for the industry. I invite on stage Mr. Parag Sharma, WIPPA's president and the CEO of Resolven, to kickstart the day's sessions and set the context for this afternoon's discussions. Parag, sir.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to the WIPPA's 13th Foundation Day. I warmly welcome Honorable Minister MNRE, Secretary MNRE, and the SECI MD, and I am really thankful to them for gracing this occasion. I will just quickly take you through a small presentation just to set the background. So a couple of slides on WIPPA, but briefly I will say that there is hardly any bid related to wind, or I would say in general in RE, where somebody has participated and he is not a member of WIPPA. So WIPPA is a 53-member organization, 13-year-old, pretty well known in the industry. We would like to start with this data that last year has been very good. In fact, this last financial year has been very good. We have done 6.1 gigawatt of wind addition, and this has been historically the largest addition in India. And not only that, on a world map, this is the second highest wind addition, just after US, almost equal to, just after China, almost equal to US, and we have this time overtaken Germany. But having said 6.1 gigawatt is not that what our target is. Our target to reach 500 gigawatt is 10 gigawatt plus every year, and a lot needs to be done. In terms of cumulative installed capacity, we have to beat Germany. They are sitting at 80 gigawatt. And if we start learning from whatever they have done, and just to narrate some of the things, they have reserved 2% of their land for only doing wind. 50% of the Germany's wind capacity has already been repowered. Their entire DSM system is we have so much to learn from it. So it's a long way to go, but yes, it has been historically the largest capacity addition year for us last year. The key thing that I want to highlight is it's not just that wind contributes 6% of the India's energy. The core point is that 45% of this energy is contributed in the peak hours. That is what most of the states are looking forward to. India needs more of wind power. Right now, the duck curve that India is facing, the solution for that is more of wind and the batteries. And we know that in batteries, we don't have control on the value chain. While in wind, it's entirely make in India, we have full control on our value chain. And this is what the CA projection says, which clearly states that the ratio of wind in the entire installed capacity is going to grow. Currently, it is 10%. We will be more closer to 14% down the line. And for that, we need to add 10 gigawatt every year. And why we have achieved 6.1 gigawatt, clearly these are the prime reasons. The first and the foremost, we were struggling with the MOD clearances. This is where the MNRE has really helped. The zoning in MOD areas is leading to in very few instances, we have to go to MOD for clearances. It was taking years and years before this modification was done. Similarly, today wind is a darling, I would say, for a C&I customer. All the RTC power is backed by wind. And all of these C&I transactions were really getting stuck on account of cumbersome captive rules. The recent amendment on the captive rules have clarified a lot of things. And the core reason why we are sitting here at 6.1 gigawatt is the kind of bidding that REIAs have carried out. We have few slides to show how we have ramped up, but yes, The bread and butter for wind industry is the REIA bids, which has led us to reach to a 6.1 gigawatt number. On the GST side, we were thankful that a significant reduction has been done, but there has been a slight negation of this reduction. The wind turbine cost would have really fallen, but it has not fallen a lot because we were also trying to promote Make in India. Moment we did ALMM in wind, the wind turbine costs have remained the same. It has both the factors have almost negated each other. The only request we have here from MNRE on this topic is, though we want Make in India, but maybe some of the things like bearings and all may take time, and we may come back to MNRE requesting for extensions for moving to ALMM in wind. But largely, people are driven towards it. They are looking at deadlines to meet and switch over to domestic components. So having said, just to focus on 3 or 4 issues which industry is currently facing. The first and the foremost is, as I said, the industry is driven by bids from REIA. So if we look at the 6.1 gigawatt figure of last year, it's primarily because of good amount of bidding being done in calendar year 2023 and 24. The numbers were as high as 57 gigawatt and 71 gigawatts. Our concern is that last year, this number dropped to as low as 20 gigawatt. Right now, there is a significant 28 gigawatt of wind which is under construction. So it will lead to a good year, maybe for 1 or 2 more years. But unless and until we have good amount of wind bids, we will start slipping. And we can understand why there was an issue on PPA signing, but we never heard from either the SECI or MNRE that any of the state not willing to buy wind, because wind is getting produced in the evening hours. Whatever tenders are floated in wind, they get closed very fast. So the second issue which we want to highlight, and you know the issue and we have been repeatedly touching upon it, the CRC amendment on the DSM regulation. And this has been only the first year where the impact is limited to narrowing of bands. That itself has led to doubling of the DSM penalty payment. So this is something which is hitting our IRRs very heavily. And it is, as I said, only because of constraining the bands, the DSM penalty bands. Moment the next year comes, and in the next year, it's not only the constraining the penalty band, it is also the X factor which will start impacting us. And if we look at FY32, the penalty amount for wind will be 8 times what we are paying. And this is happening not for the new bids. If it would have been for the new bids, we would have considered it in our tariff. This is happening even in the old ones. So it is almost impossible for these wind projects which are already commissioned to bear this kind of a loss. And so we sincerely request you to kindly look into it. In fact, we have made a table. We also want that renewables should be integrated in the grid, and that's why there should hardly be any ban. We completely agree philosophically on this issue. But to make it happen, we have to really look into what other countries have done. So let's say in Germany, the gate closure time is just 5 minutes. We are talking about gate closure time of 2 hours or 1 hour 45 minutes. In Germany, there could be a one schedule at a national level, and the traders help you to give one single schedule. Here in India, we are only talking about pooling up to the substation level. Not even a regional level schedule is allowed. Similarly, our forecast, the quality of our weather forecast, we are talking about that gets updated 2 or 3 times a day. In Germany, it gets updated 24 times a day. The spatial resolution here in India is 10 kilometer by 10 kilometers. So we all know that. We see in our day-to-day life that how accurate is our weather forecast. So unless and until we address these three things, it's very difficult to really go to the new regime. And that's why we are in discussion with CRC, and we will try our best to see and convince them that this is practically not possible. So the third issue that we are facing is the curtailment. This is happening I would say at the central level almost first time in India. And the core reason is that whatever the targets were given to TSPs for build this transmission lines, they are slipping over it in big time, and it is happening historically over the last 4 or 5 years. And now we have reached a stage where it has led to curtailment. If we look at the 4.8 gigawatt of projects which are going through this curtailment in Rajasthan, earlier the impression that we were given by MOP and by the CTU that it's a matter of time. Within 3 or 4 months, the lines will come up and curtailment will reduce. But on the contrary, if you see the last 3 months data, the curtailment is increasing. The reason being more and more generators are coming online, while in a proportionate way the transmission lines are not catching up. So we did some projection on basis of number of plants which are really coming up over the next couple of months. It seems that we have to do something to reschedule the upcoming network, the Dwarka Jatikala line. By the time that line will come, a lot of NPAs will already happen in our sector. So we need to really resolve this. So the fourth point is almost getting resolved. The whole issue was that only twice every 6 months we could ask for the extension in our PPA commissioning timelines on account of force majeure in transmission line. And we were seeing delays of more than 1 year. And that's why we were asking for more time. But this already has been, a notification has been issued by MOP to CRC, and hopefully CRC will now amend this. And this issue, as we speak, is getting addressed. So with this, I will pause here. I will just narrate that only 2 issues which are really bothering us. Otherwise, the sector has done amazingly well. We really look forward to a year where we are reaching closer to 10 gigawatt. So your attention is required on DSM and curtailment. So these are the issues for the sector. Once again, sir, thanks for gracing the occasion. Thank you.